The biblical story of faith and giving begins, well, at the beginning, in Genesis 1, with the creation of the universe, and particularly with the creation of human beings, male and female, in the image of God. In the image of God, these words are very familiar to us. We feel very comfortable with them, though we may not know exactly what that means. But it's hard for us to recognize that those words, when they were first spoken in the ancient world, were really something quite new, something quite surprising and radical. For us to understand just how radical and how surprising the very notion that humans are created in the image of God would have been for the ancients, it's important for us to put Genesis 1 in its ancient Near Eastern context, and particularly to look at the Babylonian creation myth, which Genesis 1 draws from, but then radically interprets, flips completely on its head. The Babylonian creation myth is a story that is told about the creation of the world that in fact justifies the economic and political and military power of the Babylonian Empire. This story is called the Enuma Elish, which comes from the opening words of this long poem of creation, the opening words which simply mean, "when upon high." Once upon a time, according to the Babylonian creation story, there was the god Apsu, the god of fresh water, and the goddess Tiamat, the goddess of the sea. They came together, and in their intermingling were created all the gods of heaven. The gods of heaven, the children of Apsu and Tiamat, were a noisy lot. They constantly were making noise, running around, and they kept Tiamat awake all the time. Tiamat couldn't sleep, and therefore she became very grumpy. And of course, if Mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. Apsu couldn't sleep either, and he finally cooked up the notion of killing the kids so he and Tiamat could get some sleep and could live once again in harmony. Some of the gods found out about this, and one god in particular, Ea, the god of wisdom, preemptively killed Apsu. And he split him open, and he built his palace within the corpse of Apsu, and named his palace Apsu. Now, Ea had a son named Marduk. Marduk was the god of thunderstorms. Ea and his wife Damkina gave Marduk the four winds to play with. Marduk, one of his favorite things to do was to blow the four winds across the belly of Tiamat. And of course this kept Tiamat in a constant turmoil. I mean, you can imagine the sea and the wind blowing across the sea and the waves that pile up in the sea as the wind blows across. This was the idea in the Babylonian story. Tiamat eventually decides that it is time to kill the kids, because she is just constantly in turmoil because of Marduk's winds blowing across her belly. So Tiamat declares war on the gods. She's raging. Imagine Hurricane Katrina. This is what the Babylonians had in mind with the raging of Tiamat. The gods were cowering over in one corner of the universe at the fury of their mother. They didn't know what to do. Well, Marduk saw this as his opportunity. and he invited all the gods over to his place for a barbecue. And he rolled out several kegs of beer. Yes, they drank beer in the ancient world. And after the gods had had several mugs full of beer, Marduk said to them, "I will be your champion. I will go up against Tiamat." The gods said, "This is wonderful. This is fabulous." And Marduk says, "The only thing is, you have to make me king of all the gods, the first among all the gods of the universe." Well, this seemed like a good bargain to the gods, so Marduk went forward to battle Tiamat. It was the battle rage. Tiamat built sea monsters, serpents, great serpents, and she sent them against Marduk, and he defeated the sea monsters that came up out of the sea. And eventually Tiamat caught Marduk, and she opened her wide gaping mouth to swallow him whole, and Marduk took the opportunity to blow the four winds down her wide open mouth, and then he took one of his lightning bolts. He was, after all, the god of thunderstorms, and he shot her, and he killed her. And he took her corpse and he cut it in two, and out of half of it he made the great dome of heaven, and out of the other half of it he made the earth. And then he took one of her generals, Kingu, and he killed Kingu, and he took the blood of Kingu and he mingled it with the earth that had been made out of the body of Tiamat. And he created out of this mixture of the dead body of Tiamat and the blood of Kingu, he made human beings. And he made human beings to be slaves to the gods, to do the grunt work that the gods didn't want to do, to clean out the canals and the rivers, to go and hunt for food and to prepare it as banquets for the gods. So in the Babylonian creation story, human beings are created in order to be slaves. They are created for hard labor, for endless labor, and never having rest. Human beings are created to be slaves to the gods. Now this is the perfect imperial creation story. You see, Marduk was the patron deity of the city of Babylon, the city that is the heart of the empire. Now, Marduk, as the patron deity of the city of Babylon, he doesn't walk around on earth demanding his rightful tribute from all of his slaves. He's not physically present. He deputizes his chosen king, the emperor, to go about and collect the rightful tribute of Marduk and to bring it to Marduk's city, Babylon. This is the perfect creation story for imperial power, a story where order comes out of military might, out of great dominating power, a story that says that the earth is created by the power of the sword and by the ruthlessness of the great King Marduk and his imperial son on earth. But the Babylonian creation story is not the only creation story.